Hey y'all, this is going to be a little video, nothing big. So today is July 4th and it's Happy Independence Day. I belong to a family that has been in America since 1624. We settled here at a place called Prince George County, Virginia. Out of that family, two men decided to leave and go to a place that would one day be and they left and came to North Carolina, and they arrived here in this county in 1634. So my family's been here since the 1600s. They came from Manchester, and I've always been a big history nut. That's my passion right there, and it's been a lot of fun doing genealogy work for my family. I don't do that DNA swab stuff. It's a bunch of hoax. It's fake. And I don't trust people for me to pay someone to do it. Okay, and I don't know, I still got a lot more to learn, but Independence Day. Well, when you have an ancestor that served in that time, it means a little bit more than what I think for others it may mean. It has more of a connection to that struggle that your family was a part of. At least it is for me. I did have an ancestor who was a commissioned officer. North Carolina created three brigades, and those three brigades were actually the Army of North Carolina. And the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd Brigade. The 3rd Brigade went to South Carolina in defense of Charleston and was part of the American defenders that were surrounded by the British and surrendered. So the 3rd Brigade was disbanded after that. And it didn't see North Carolina didn't have a 3rd Brigade until after May 20th, 1861, when North Carolina had legally seceded from the United States. And that's a topic for another thing, but it's also the same. So this man was a commissioned captain. His name was Thomas Franklin Lee, and he went on to serve. And after the war was over with, he and his family and a few other veterans, they left North Carolina and they went to Tennessee. My goal is, when I'm able to, is to travel and to find out the family that is still there, because his descendants are there today. I think they're in the area of Franklin, Tennessee. So what's the video about? The video is about our history and who we are. We have rioters and looters destroying public property. We got law. We got Lord have mercy, got tongue tied. We got elected officials that are allowing rioters to destroy public property. Those things being statues. Now, originally, it all got started with, let's attack Confederate monuments, which I am definitely not. Not for that. The Confederate monuments need to stand. They need to stay. They're just as important as any other monument dedicated to soldiers. Now, some people will say, well, Confederate soldiers were not soldiers of the United States. They were not soldiers of the United States. You're absolutely right. but they were made soldiers of the United States under under congressional law. The Congress wrote a bill, the Senate approved the bill, and the President of the United States at the time signed the bill. So a Confederate soldier was given all rights and privileges of a soldier who served in the United States Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. That's why women of Confederate veterans received pensions from the United States federal government for the service that these men did in the fight for their home, their country, the Confederate States of America. Now I'm not trying to go into all kind of things about that, but the Confederacy was a nation by itself, and they were defeated by the United States. That's it. That's what it was for me. That's what it is for me. But Independence Day. What I'm trying to get to is you can't rely on historians to tell you the truth anymore, because they'll flat out lie to you. Historians lie. You cannot listen to what they say anymore, because they all have an objective, and the objective is the almighty dollar. They want that book to get published. They want to keep their tenure in that university. They're going to toe the party line. And yes, I'm in a party. They will tote that party line to keep their job. Historians are not supposed to be that way. Historians are supposed to be just as blank as a page with no ink on it. They're supposed to be a sponge that absorbs all information, takes everything in, and then puts it in a chronological order for the reader to understand. And then they give you the information, and that's it. That's what historians are really supposed to do, but they don't. They object their opinions and their thoughts and not into what they are trying to teach, and that is not what you should be doing as a historian. A person who's biased isn't bad, as long as that person who's biased can articulate their knowledge of why they're biased towards a certain thing. Like most American historians, well, they're biased towards the United States during World War II. They're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be biased towards anybody. They're supposed to give you the information, that's it. Then you are supposed to decide. History is made by man, and that history should be analyzed by man to see the wrongs of yesterday. How do we live our life if we don't have a past to read it from? If we don't stop destroying our American history, if we don't stop defacing our monuments and if we don't stand up for our history, then we will damn sure repeat it. And the last time there was a war in this country on American soil, it was between men whose grandfathers had served together under Winfield Scott down in Mexico. And it cost 680,000 of their dead and 1 million populace in death. Today it would be it would be a devastating thing, because our nation's never had a civil war. Now some would say, well, that don't make any sense. We did. No, we didn't. We didn't have a civil war. We didn't have an internal strife. We had a internal family struggle where sons and brothers and fathers decided, I'm going north or I'm going south. Well, that's exactly what they did during the War of Independence. They either decide that they're going to go Patriot or Tory. That's what they did. And in a lot of ways, the American War for Independence was more of a civil war than the alleged Civil War of the 1860s. So anyhow, it's our Independence Day is that important. Is that crucial to understand, because our ancestors, they were not gifted their independence. They were not gifted a type of sovereignty. They had taken their sovereignty and fought like hell to have it for 10 years. And the brutality of that time, it was amazing. So, you know, I'm not trying to be all sad about the thing. I ain't trying to talk like that. But what I'm trying to say is our history is so important to us that because we are doomed to repeat the sadness of yesterday. We're doomed to repeat it if we don't stop this madness of destroying our history and rewriting it, washing over it, forgetting this part or forgetting that part. Because I have found that the so-called historians will do that. I'm not gonna put that in there. It all needs to be put in there. All of our history needs to be spoken of, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Without it, we don't have a history. And then you will see that third part, the ugly, you'll see it with your own eyes, and your children will have to experience it too. So, honor your ancestors, love your family, love the republic. We're not a democracy. And learn the difference of that. Love your country, because your country is a great nation. And your country is actually a small nation in years. We're a very young nation compared to other nations. We don't have the history like the nations of Europe does. So take that into consideration also. God bless the United States. God bless our country. Happy Independence Day, y'all. Go fire off fireworks. Be back directly.